Hello, this is Blakey Rat.
And this is Rantus.
Today we're going to be watching some
Black
Bioshock
screen.
2.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah, you recorded this is recorded by Rantus. He did a playthrough recently. Do you want to give a little background on why you played this game after like years after it came out?
Oh yeah, somehow I just never had played this game, and then a relative realized I'd never played this game and bought it for Christmas, and then I let it sit for 3 months unopened before I played it.
How do you Okay, so we're not talking about the game, sorry, but Rantus plays literally every Xbox game that ever existed ever, and I'm trying to figure out how your relative figured out that you hadn't played this. Do you have a database somewhere?
Well, no, you just go to my Xbox profile, Control F for a game, and if it's not there, I haven't played it.
Oh, man.
It's brilliant.
I bet your profile takes like 20 minutes to load. Okay, anyway. So, Bioshock 2 is the sequel to Bioshock. Surprise, surprise. I really enjoyed this game.
Don't look at this next part, because I definitely selected hard for the sake of this playthrough. I did stew.
You can select hard on this.
I did stew and think about it for a while before I actually.
Apparently, I'm getting bored, man.
Well, I got transfixed by the fish too.
It is a very nice level select or difficulty select screen here. I might use the logo there if we ever need to put a logo into the playthrough.
It's nicely animated.
Yeah, Bioshock is one of my favorite games. It's really good. Of course, System Shock 2 is more of a favorite. I like that better. But Bioshock did a great job of taking the System Shock 2 gameplay and attitude and vibe and all that good stuff and translating it to kind of a. I mean, it's funny because it's kind of like a copyright thing where they changed it around just enough so that they couldn't be accused of stealing the game directly. But oh, you did select easy. You liar. God, you think I wouldn't notice? But anyway, Bioshock, yeah, great game. I'm sure most of the people listening to this have watched it or have played it or watched it. But if you haven't played it, you really should. It really is good. And this is the sequel, which I don't know, a lot of people didn't like, but I personally thought was as good as the original. I don't know.
I'd say it was as good as the original. I just felt like I was replaying the story from one, in all honesty.
Yeah,
it felt too similar.
Kind of glad. Yeah, well, I'm actually kind of glad we're doing this because I'm gonna fully admit, although I've played through this game like basically 1.5 times, I don't remember the story that well. So this is gonna be my chance to go through and refresh myself on exactly what happens. I mean, I know the basic outlines, but I don't remember any specifics.
So now you're coming up to a hidey hole to pick up your little sister.
If you're a game developer, just FYI, it's generally not a good idea to let your characters walk close enough to circular objects so that they realize it's composed of about 20 polygons and not actually a circle. just a little advice there.
Yeah. By the way, totally random, while this kind of slow part is going, I saw the Bioshock Infinite trailer again, I guess, like yesterday, and I sat there wondering, like, is the crazy chick who can tear open space-time one of these little sisters who escaped and then was captured and ended up living on a flying city after living underneath the sea?
Yes, sure, I don't know.
I don't know.
I really don't. I don't know. So, as you can see from that little cutscene there, you are now a Big Daddy. You're actually the prototype for all the Big Daddies, called Delta, if I remember right. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes, so you're the original Big Daddy. And this is the flashback to 1958. If you remember, the original Bioshock took place in 1960, so this is a couple years before the event of the original game. So this is just when things are starting to fall apart, I guess, is the gimmick here. Yum. But most of the game takes place after 1960.
Yes, it does. And this is probably the single most gory part of the game.
Rated M.
Yeah.
For mature. We did the darkness too, really. This is nothing in comparison, honestly.
Yeah, it's really not. But this is
man.
This is the most gory part of the entire game. The rest of it's not that bad.
safe now. This is not your daughter.
That is Sophia Lamb, right? Is that her name?
Yes, Sophia Lamb.
Yes.
And she is mine.
So,
Now, kneel, please.
when you're going through the game in Bioshock 1,
Remove.
the city's basically a ruined piece of crap with Andrew Ryan and, God, I can't remember what his name, Fontaine, something Fontaine.
Take the pistol.
Yeah.
They basically,
Place it
you know,
against your head.
divide up the city and have what amounts to gang wars. And so by the end of Bioshock 1, it's just a giant crap hole. You'll notice that Bioshock 2, which technically takes place afterwards, somehow the city is a thriving metropolis again.
Yeah, it's really funny because that was pretty devastating intro there. Nothing compares to the almost drowning intro of the original Bioshock, though. I'm sorry, the plane crash and almost drowning. But anyway, yeah, I've always thought that was weird too, especially since in the course of playing Bioshock, all you see is like the leaks starting, like all the walkways and stuff like that are just pouring in water, and you'd think, wouldn't the entire city be flooded by the time, like 10 years later? So this is 8 years after the events of the original game, and somehow the whole city hasn't like basically completely destroyed itself somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few really great set pieces in this game that involve the water flowing in.
Yes,
But,
definitely.
I'll talk
Also,
about those more when we get to 'em.
not that, I guess this is kind of mild spoilers, but they never... So, obviously, at the very beginning of the game there, you just shot yourself in the head, and you wake up
Yeah.
in this place, but never in the entire storyline do they ever really explain how you come back to life. I guess the assumption is maybe you came out of the Vita chamber 10 years later. Like...
I thought that menu action. I thought that the challenge mode, disabling the Vita chambers, huh?
That's right. You'll notice
I
I
thought
don't
the premise
die
is that you had
the entire
yeah. I
game.
thought the premise is that you had one of the sea slugs. This is not a spoiler for people who played Bioshock, but you saw in the intro that people were basically had like electrical powers, and the Bioshock setting, you get superpowers because there's these sea slugs you can implant inside a human body that produces fluid that changes your genetic structure so that you can basically get superpowers. Is there a better
Pretty
way
much.
to say that? But
Yeah.
yeah, so the thing is, the little sisters have the worms implanted in them, and that's why they have the weird glowing eyes and are really spooky and creepy. And one of the side effects of having it implanted is that you're basically immortal. And you can't die, and if you get hurt, you just kind of resuscitate. So, anyway, I think that's what they were going for, but I don't know if that's ever explicitly stated in the game. Since you're the prototype, in Bioshock they talk about, I love the diaries, they talk about how they tested on adults before picking children.
Lesson 1.
Yeah.
Jockeys. You are under the
That would
ocean
actually
now.
make a lot of
If
sense.
you
I don't think they
feel
explicitly
soft
spell it
pattern
out,
rain
but...
on your hat, you're already fired. Lesson 2. You can jumpstart a dead generator with a direct spark, but clear the gases out of the pool first. Scares these rich pricks to watch a working stiff hurling thunderbolts. You follow me?
Yeah, it's funny. I think I went out of my way to try and find as many of those as I could, but realistically we'll probably end up talking over most of them.
Well, yeah.
They just give you the first code here. Although I don't know
Yeah,
why
you
I
didn't
like...
punch it in.
Well, I
Just
do.
kind of left.
I don't know what the
So
hell.
anyway, Sophia Lamb, who we just saw a brief glimpse of in the intro there, Sophia Lamb is the new Andrew Ryan in this game, but her attitude towards society is basically the exact opposite.
Yes.
And it's kind of interesting because the way, you know, the original was kind of a play on the whole objectivism concept. Oh, that's cheap. It shows the code right there on the screen while you're typing it in.
Oh, I didn't know
You have to
that.
actually remember it in the original.
Oh, I didn't even know
Um,
that.
Yeah, the original game is kind of a play on the whole objectivism and how objectivism can actually work in a society, and you learn that the other side doesn't work either.
Such a perfect idiot.
No.
Throws away all his spending money on gene tonics to affect a look of physical fitness. So he'll have an excuse to sit on his rear all day listening to radio serials. Steven, I tell him, You want to be fit? Come swim laps with me, the old-fashioned way. It's your mind that's atrophying. Maybe I'll start sneaking some brain boost into his daily regimen.
So it is pretty run down, but as you can see, it's still doing pretty good. There's still air. And remember, you're like... Here's your little sister calling to you. You're like 800 feet or whatever below the water. I don't know how... What? I guess I measured it in fathoms. Do you remember how many fathoms down?
No, I don't. It's pretty far,
Oh,
though.
whatever. You're under the water. Yeah. And now you get your first plasmid superpower, which is lightning bolt.
This seems like it would be an extremely painful process.
They actually, yeah, in the original game they spell it out, but not only is it painful, but you fall off the stairwell while it's happening, so it's doubly painful.
That is true.
I love how they have little dolls that are... Ooh. I love how they have little dolls that are Big Daddy dolls.
Yeah.
Always thought that was a great little detail there. But you're supposed to follow... Oh man, you're terrible at this game.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what I was doing at this point. Exploring, I guess. Stealing money.
No, that's
from...
okay. Like you said, there's... I mean, it's like any game, modern game. There's lots of collectibles. You can collect all of the recordings, the tape recorders that are laying around with various people's journals, and those are actually mostly how the story is unfolding. And actually, I think that's about it for collectibles, isn't it? Except for just money.
I think the other thing, but that's more of a useful thing, is the
different plasmid powers.
Well, the different
There's
plasmid
that.
powers, but you also eventually run into terminals that allow you to upgrade your weapons.
Oh, yes, that's right. And they're very few and far between, so you kind of have to choose how to use them.
That was
And
quite
these
ni-
are splicers.
I had to help that guy off the diving board.
You
Yeah,
should
they're-
have lightning bolted him. Oh, I guess you lightning bolted here. She's the one you didn't. Sophia Lamb's watching.
So, yeah, it's funny. Basically, you have two sides to this conflict again. You have the Lamb followers, and then you have kind of the Ryan followers, and the Lamb followers basically turn into a giant cult.
Yeah. Like a commie cult.
Pretty much. Extreme socialism.
Yes. Yes. Oh. Man, I haven't played this game in a long time. I don't remember much of this at all. I guess it is, because the funny thing is we were just complaining about how, you know, it's been like so many years since the original game, and we're like, well, shouldn't this place be destroyed? But
At last, a signal.
Well, even in this, it's
Who are
leaking like
bringing
hell,
this
you
dead
know?
city to life. Listen.
yeah, but it's
My
still
name,
basically
it
wrong.
is Tannenbaum. I know who you are, and I am in much need of your help. Please, find me in the Atlantic Express train station.
Objectives. So Tannenbaum from the original game is the scientist who is a
Who created
concentration
the-
camp survivor.
Well, she created the original
Remember that little detail?
sisters. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
That's basically why, until like the events of Bioshock, she had like literally no moral, no morality at all, because that's why she chose the little girls and stuff like
Oh,
that.
there you go. This guy's
Because she
repairing
actually-
the leak, by the way. This is just a little...
Yeah, I guess so. That's why the whole city's in good shape.
Oh, there you go.
They got the Big Daddies working. She was in a concentration camp, and this always is. It's gonna be a petty complaint, so I'm gonna warn you in advance. But in the first game, they mentioned that when she was in the concentration camp, she studied genetics, and genes weren't discovered then.
My daughter,
Just
Eleanor.
sorry, they weren't.
Soon,
Eh.
you will be born.
Alternate history of the world, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so, because I'm pretty sure the giant jet that you crashed in the original game didn't exist in 1960 either.
By the way, $5 to use the toilet seems a little steep. I'm just saying. People would probably just end up crapping on the
Yeah.
floor outside.
Life will be difficult.
Yeah,
The price
I did
that's true.
Did get use out of my $5 though. I flushed the toilet.
Thank you for that. That was pretty foul smelling. Dames.
It was a courtesy
Yeah.
flush.
They usually give you an item to make up for it, so yeah. The toilet cost, I guess, the toilet fee.